Data Jam, Data Science Data Jam. You may be wondering what happened to code puddings. Well, now our code puddings have fully materialized into not just a pudding, now they're full-on jams. So, same thing, just a new name. Hope you all enjoy just the same. My name is Tiffany Hall. I'm an alumni of TripleTen Software Engineering Program. I'm a full stack engineer and a product owner. And tonight, I'm very excited because I get to host TripleTen's Data Science Data Jam. DS Data Jam. That's a lot easier to say. I'm glad to see so many of you could join us. We have a lot of students with us tonight, and I see that there are lots of people watching live. So very excited about both of those. The data jam, well, all of the jams in general are one of the best parts of them is that it brings our students together from all over the country and really helps them develop a lot of real life skills they're going to need, especially around those soft skill areas that everyone is looking for. So this is a great opportunity for our students and a great opportunity if you're curious about what goes on in our program. All right, so what is a data jam? If you're new to the space, I can tell you what that is. So at TripleTen, we have these friendly competitions that occur for our students during their normal coursework. These are very short competitions where students get together and start jamming out the work. Jam out. Okay. So we give them a prompt, they get together, they jam out the work, and then they bring it to you. So our data jam is consisted of two parts. We have the working with the data part and building a model, and then the presentation. And the presentation part is tonight. Last week, our participants were divided into their teams. We gave them the prompt, and we asked them to work together to explore global happiness trends and predict future happiness scores using factors like GDP, social support, life expectancy, perhaps maybe even the amount of caffeine a country takes in. Probably not that. That's probably just my hope. But all the same, the teams only had 5 days to make their projects, and tonight we get to see all of their hard work. Then in the next week, our judges will take them and review them and evaluate them on the model, the data, and the presentation. The results will be posted on the Hub on October 9th. All of our students can vote in the Hub for their favorite project during the following week. And if you're watching this on replay later, you can vote in the live chat or in the comments on this page to just shout out your favorite team, and that will get them a vote as well. The audience award gets a special prize from TripleTen. I do my best to make sure Sharkbait, my cat, doesn't put any like cheese or stuffed mice in there, but it could happen. So now let's move on to our presentations. The first team we have tonight, we have two teams. The first one is Serendipity, and that is with Gilles Fadou, Matthias Souza, Hamed Tayeb, and then Victor Foreman. So take it away, Serendipity.
Hello, everyone. We are Serendipity Team. This is the September Data Science Code Jam, and we are working on predicting global happiness. Together, Joe Fadu, myself, Mateo Souza, Victor Foreman, Hamed Taib will unveil valuable information further. We all chase happiness, but have you ever wondered what truly drives it? Is it money, health, relationships, or something else? Today, we'll explore that together. This project explores the world happiness report data using exploratory data analysis. The analysis investigates the factors influencing happiness, regional differences, country-level trends, and global patterns over time. Our project is structured around four main goals. Goal number one is to identify the strongest drivers of happiness, the factors that really move the needle when it comes to people's well-being. Goal number two looks at happiness trends across different regions and countries so we can compare how social, cultural, and economic contexts influence happiness. Goal number three is about visualizing the top and bottom countries by happiness score, which gives us a clear picture of where people are thriving and where challenges remain. Finally, for goal four, focuses on predicting future happiness levels based on historical data This helps us not only understand the past and present, but also anticipate where happiness trends may be heading worldwide. I will hand it over now to expert Hamed for the exploratory data analysis portion.
Thank you, Matt. So we have collected our data from Kaggle, and the data used is world happiness for 2015 to 2023. We dropped the duplicate and removed the null rows that left our data set with 1365 observations. The key features that we have in this data are GDP, social support, healthy life expectancy, freedom of life choices, generosity, and perception of corruption. You may ask what the GDP is and how it affects happiness. GDP, or gross domestic product, reflects the average income in a country, and it's strongly linked to happiness because it allows people to meet basic needs, access healthcare, and live with more security. However, after a certain point, more money doesn't always mean more happiness. Social support, freedom, and trust also matter a lot. Most countries fall between a happiness score of 4 and a 7, with very few at the extreme low and high end. This shows that while happiness varies, most nations are around the middle range. From the correlation heat map, we see the strongest driver of happiness are GDP per capita, life expectancy, and social support. Freedom plays a medium role, while corruption and generosity are much weaker. Interestingly, the year itself has almost no correlation, showing happiness hasn't shifted much globally over time. This scatter plot helps to confirm our finding as well. And with the time trend, global happiness stayed stable from 2015 to 2023, around 5.3 to 5.5, dipping in 2017 and peaking in 2022. Western Europe, North America, Australia, New Zealand lead consistently, while Sub-Saharan South Africa and South Asia remains the lowest. Latin America and Eastern Europe sit in the middle with some fluctuation. This slide shows 2023 with the top and bottom 10 countries based on the happiness. But with all being said, I'm handing over to expert Victor.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. Much appreciated. So everybody, the next part of our agenda we're going to talk about is machine learning models, obviously. So the first thing we want to touch on is that Ahmed earlier was talking about, he predicted was one of the most impactful features there. And we came across those features, but we wanted to say, yeah, a lot of those were numerical data values, which is perfect. Two of those features actually from the data set were categorical. They were country and region. And lastly, we had a feature that was the year, which was just the year that the data was recorded. Now, we collectively as a group decided that the categorical features just won't be used in our modeling. And we knew the year was going to be used strictly for splitting the data. And just speaking of splitting the data, we'll talk about that next. Now, of the many ways we could have split the data, we decided to split the data by year. Now, earlier, Hamed said that our data was from 2015 all the way up to 2023. So we chose to make sure that our training set was from the year 2015 all the way up to 2022, and our test set to be 2023, because we know that this is about predicting the next year anyway. And just to make sure that our training set was in order chronologically, we made logical order because we want to know, hey, this is about predicting the future. Can this model predict the next year and the next incoming data? So we want to make sure that was always in play. Now, with all that being said, we ended up going through a bunch of models to see which one worked the best, and ultimately we came across the ridge regression model being the best model used. Now, we've had a bunch of models try. We tried Ceramax, we tried linear regression, we tried neural network, gradient boosting, and all of them did their own things, but ultimately the best model was the ridge regression. On the graph to the right, you'll see that we have the R squared metric as one of our biggest influences, is why we chose it. Ridge regression had the highest R squared score. And coincidentally, but also to our benefit, the R squared regression, the ridge regression also had the lowest RMSE value and the MAE score as well. Had the lowest, and that was very convenient. And hyperparameters for the ridge regression, we have the alpha being 100 and the solver being SVD, which is singular value decomposition. And to move on, we're going to talk about the SHAP. So our SHAP graph here, this was about confirming the hypothesis that Ahmed was talking about earlier about which of those features was the biggest contribution to the model and how to predict it. We have this graph here. It may look a little confusing, but let's think of it as like tug of war. So if you look at the top, we'll see GPD per capita. There's a lot of data points, not the data points, but a lot of influence to the right side of this middle line here. And think of that as like positive pulling. And there's a lot more positive pull, which means it had a lot more influence. And in the next line, you'll see healthy life expectancy, which is a lot of points on the left, which is the negative pull. So it didn't have that much influence. So we can see clearly with this graph which ones and how much influence that they had for the contribution for the model. And with that being said, I'm going to pass it up to expert Gio for interpretation and insight.
So now we're going to head to our conclusion. So our best performing model was ridge regression with R square of 0.77. In contrast to that, our Serimax struggled with an R square of just 0.03, while the dummy model confirmed that advanced approaches add real predictive value. From our SEP analysis, the strongest drivers of happiness were GDP per capita, healthy life expectancy, freedoms, social support, perception of corruption, and generosity. Overall, ridge regression not only generalizes well to 2023 data, but also provides actionable insights. With these results in mind, we can now turn to the project's limitation and opportunities for our future improvement. Limitations was the dataset was small. We didn't include features like GDP growth, inequality, or environmental factors, and we didn't even test policy stimulations. We didn't even explore advanced model combinations, and regional differences weren't modeled directly. For future improvements, we could try to advance temporal models like LSTM and richer features such as inequality or environmental indexes, and build policy stimulation to see how interventions might change happiness. Exploring assembled models and tailoring predictions to specific regions would also make us results stronger. Now we are going to move to our dashboard. So here's this our dashboard. We are starting with our global happiness dashboard. In here, where you see the first drop-down menu, we can select the countries for individual analysis. Say right now, if we select Canada, it will change our happiness score over the years in Canada. Along with that, it will also, if we scroll down, we can see the income and happiness relationship. Following that, we also have a map, like a global map, where we can change the years and it will change the color. Like the red most is going to be like good happiness score, and it's the blue ones, it's like lower. You can see like United States, on like America, North America, and then Australia, they have really high red, high happiness score, so it's easy to visualize. Following that, we do have like interactive bar graphs, like 10 happiness countries and then 10 bottom happiness countries, where if you click on it or take the cursor on it, you can see the happiness score of each countries. Following this, we are also exploring happiness trends over time, where you can filter the years. Say if you want to find out from 2016 to 2023, you can just move the dot in the 2015 to 2016, and you can pick up however many countries you want. Like say you want to compare like 6 countries, you can pick those, and then that many countries will show up on the graph. And thank you, everyone. If you guys want, you can also try this out. We are going to post the link on the chat.
All right. That was great. So how did the project go? Because you guys were using some really interesting statistics on this one, right? So on this one, you guys had things like GDP to figure out versus like, here is this data set of very bizarre and random samplings of data, right? Like you guys had some really quantifiable data and you had to derive meaning from that in a qualitative way. How did that go for you guys as a team?
It I can go right now. It went really good. Honestly, like this project, we thought about all the different ways we can take. Like firstly, say if I think about like splitting the data set, first we thought of splitting it into test and train, but some of our team members were dividing into test, train, and validation. That's a good point, to divide it into validation if you don't have a test set hidden somewhere. And so we came about it. But then if we are using grid search, which has already cross validation, so you don't need to have a validation data set, and then you stick to it. So those kind of learning as we go, and then having different perspective with each and every team member really helped us to kind of learn so much more and try so much more to it. I think that was really important in this project.
So not a lot.
I'd also add. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Victor, jump in.
I think at least for handling the data with, at least I want to say it's probably gonna come up a lot, but big communication about like explaining like what your input was or thoughts about how you thought about doing the data. Like for example, like me, I was like, oh, maybe the qualitative features could be used if you just encode them and make them, numeric. And I thought that might have been a way, but then we got some really, really, really big scores, and our fear was that there was data leakage. So it's like I pitched that idea, and then everybody collectively thinks that let's try this instead, and okay. And no matter what, everybody pitches in what they want to say, and until you come together and think like, okay, we're gonna try this overall way. This is how we're gonna run this data set. This is how we're gonna do this. So it's kind of like everybody just explains what they thought, and then everybody collectively just agrees, disagrees, or votes on what you want. So it's really about collaborative effort about how you want to handle it too.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Yeah, working together as a team is that is, especially when you guys are trying to think through all of those data pieces and hit those goals you set out. That's a really great one. Now, this isn't a first code jam for many of you. So how do you feel like the process is going kind of as you do more and more of these?
I can.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I can say.
Is that a nervous laughter? Is that a laughter like it's getting
No,
worse?
actually, Jill is one of the person that been in different kind of this competition, and I think she's the best to answer this question. That's why I asked her to go ahead.
Yeah, just like her 7th one or 8th.
I know. At this point, Gila is going to start hosting them, I think.
Yeah, this is my 8th one. I just keep doing code jam because every code jam is based on a different topic. And so I feel like, because to achieve that goal to complete the project in 5 days, I just learn a lot. Rather than if I was doing a project by myself, I would be like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. Or like, I would be trying to make it like so much perfect that I won't move to the next step. But here it's like, you just have 5 days, so I cannot spend so much time on it. So over and over, as I moved to the code jam, I kind of found my mistakes and I tried to solve it. And before, I would like, as I might have mentioned before, I would get annoyed when one or two members are not like there, or like they're ghosting or something. But now I just turn my way around. Like, I don't think that I don't have a support. I would think that I have more to work on and I can learn more that way.
Yeah.
So I feel
at
like
this point, you gotta get out of Jill's way and just kind of hold on.
Really?
Yeah, it's just changed my perspective because I did so many code jams that wait, I'm not like missing anything out. Like, if the team member are not participating, it's like I'm learning more. So if they don't participate, it's better for me.
Ooh, that's an interesting perspective. I like it.
For
Victor, what about
it's
you?
only my second one. It's only my second one, and the big difference was that the first one was the July one where we had to collab with the software engineers. So that was like, for that to be my first experience was kind of like, yo, what's really going on here? So this time, just working with straight data scientists, and the language they're using is a lot more familiar, and so it was a lot. It was a lot more understanding for code jam and whatnot. So I know if that happened more, I'd probably be more confident working with software engineers. And so I kind of did that. It was kind of like backwards for me. I did the weird one, and then I did kind of a decent one.
Jill, what's on your mind?
Yes, I would like to add that, like, this time, I realized that, if you have like a good team, like, we used to meet like every day possible. If not, we will change our times and everything. But if you do, like, everybody had a chance to brainstorm their ideas, and then we would discuss. And then sometimes I think that I'm right, but when we discuss, we'll think about and find out the mistakes which you don't realize by yourself. So I think that's the good point of working together.
Fantastic. All right, Hamed, are you gonna come back for another one?
I just want to give some credit to Dennis, honestly. I don't know how he's splitting the team, but I think he did somehow, do it based on the personality with this team. One of the interesting part was no matter who's stuck at something, if someone else could do, that task, just jump on it and take it. It doesn't matter who is, where and how they want, we wanted to fix the issue. Wherever we could, we just jump on it, start working on it, share with the team, get feedback, and then going on. Honestly, we finished everything 2 days ago, but we needed to do more brainstorming. We needed to do it better and then drag it till now. But it was a great, experience for me with the team. And again, I'm gonna give this, to Dennis, and thank you, Dennis.
But for those of you watching at home, Dennis is our co-jam manager. So he is my ride or die behind the scenes to make sure that all of the teams are supported and broken up. And, just like our students, they're working in teams, so do I. So yay for Dennis. Okay, so that is our first team of the night. Thank y'all so much. That was Serendipity with Gil Fidu, Matthias Souza, Ahmed Taeb, and then Victor Foreman. Our next team is our last team of the evening, and that is Spark Logic, but it's not spelled the same way as Spark. It's SPRK. And that is because the teammates are Sohini Tamar, Preeti Sagar, are Ryan Roberts, and Ken Klabnik. Ha! Yes. So SPRK, Sohini, Preeti, Ken, Ryan. No, Sohini, Preeti, Ryan, Ken. All that practicing, y'all. Okay, so here is our Spark Logic team. Y'all take it away.
Give me one moment to make sure I'm sharing the right thing. This looks right. Great. Slideshow. All right. Ryan, would you like to kick us off?
Yo, hey, how's it going, everyone? Today we'll be going over the science of happiness, global well-being with data. Next slide. So here's our team. As Tiffany said, we're going by Spark Logic. Spark is an acronym that represents the first letter of each one of our names. Logic just representing us putting our minds together. So we have Sohini, Preeti, myself, and Ken. Next slide. Why we chose this data set. The World Happiness Report data set that we chose includes data for years from 2005 to 2024, and it includes over 150 countries with similar indicators that you saw in the last presentation, with Life Ladder representing the happiness score, as well as GDP per capita, representing economic prosperity, social support for community strength, the health life expectancy, health outcomes, freedom to make life choices, generosity, perceptions of corruption, and then positive and negative effects for the emotional well-being. And this allowed us to explore the global happiness trends to work on our project. Next slide. So we're going to be going over the EDA. Next slide. This here is a sample of the data set, just giving you a view into what we were looking at when we were working through the project. So you can see a few different countries here, broken down by year, the life ladder, and all the other factors that I mentioned. The life ladder being calculated from a 0 to 10, the 10 being the highest side, representing more happiness. We can go to the next slide. Here we also looked at the top 10 happiest countries, put them in rank. Looks like Finland was still happiest country in 2024, so maybe we should move there. Next slide. The bottom 10 happiest countries are here, and similar has the life ladder there representing. But I'll allow Preeti to go next and look a little bit deeper into the visualization of the data.
Yes. So
hello everyone. I'm Preeti, data science student at TripleTen. I was supposed to not attend live, but I got a break during my class, so I thought I'll be present live.
was a surprise to us too.
Yep. I would like to talk about the data visualization and feature engineering part of our project. So after getting the data set, we wanted to first see the world map view of the happiness across the countries. And as we can see here that the countries in like North European countries like Finland, Denmark are kind of have highest happiness levels. And in contrast, many countries in Sub-Saharan Africa and part of South Asia have much lower of this happiness level. We'll explore it in detail now. So after this, we wanted to see different kind of countries and compare their happiness levels during these years from 2005 to 2025. And we can see that the developed countries like United States and Finland has a high happiness level across the over these years, while there is like stark difference between these countries and the underdeveloped and developing countries. Even the underdeveloped countries like Afghanistan has shown like steep decline during these last few years, maybe because of the COVID or the political unrest. We have to explore more further. After this, visualization brings us to the very important question that what actually drives happiness. And for this, we analyze the correlation between the happiness factor and different features. And as we can see here that the log GDP, social support, and the health expectancy at birth is are the highest contributor towards happiness in a positive way, and corruption and like negative emotions are negatively correlated to the happiness, which is obvious. But it's surprising that generosity is not contributing much to the happiness. So that was kind of surprising. And finally, we did for feature engineering, we compared different features to analyze that what all features we should remove or we should consider. And we saw that there was not much correlation between these features. So we considered all these features for our final model training. And now Ken will explain about the model training part of our project. Thank you so much.
Yes, so for model training, we actually pulled out a newish Python library that I, for one, had never used before. It's called Optuna. I learned about it a few days before the gem, thought I would give it a go. Optuna is a Python library that is for tuning the hyperparameters of your machine learning models. So I have this big code thing here. This is part of it. I'm not going to read it all off to you, but as you can see, the Optuna library will suggest like different numbers of layers of this neural network, different activation functions for it, and so forth. And it will go through and search different combinations of those to try to find a model that works better than other models. I used it to optimize a neural network, and so we were able to predict the life ladder, the happiness score of a country based on the other factors of it with a mean absolute error of 0.378 for this specific model. This beat out the linear regression that we used as a sanity check, but it did not beat out our gradient boosted decision trees for this data. I'm going to pass it over to Sahini to talk about that.
Thank you so much, Ken. So for modeling, we use LightGBM and CAD booster regressor model because it pulled up lower mean absolute error. CAD boost model with best hyperparameter, which was pulled from Optuna, was used to create the best model, which created lowest 0.31 May, and R2 score was 80% for our model. SHAP analysis was conducted with the best model to understand the feature importance for happiness. Next slide, please. So for SHAP analysis, first of all, it was done on the whole data set. On the left-hand side, you can see the bar plot. So log GDP being the highest influencer, then year being the lowest influencer, and you can see that how it affects our model. On the right-hand side, if you look at the summary plot, so let's go over this more in detail, how the impact on model output comes. The red dots means they are higher numerical values. The blue dot means the lower numerical values. If it is going towards, on the right-hand side, towards a positive, it is pulling the prediction higher. And then if it's going to the negative side, it is pulling the prediction lower. So that, and it was done on whole database to understand how our model is acting up. And on the right-hand side goes to the positive class, which is our happy. So the country is more happy. Next slide, please. If you look at this app analysis, we were really curious about year 2020 because that was our COVID year. So I wanted to see what's going on, what happened there. Surprisingly, we noticed low GDP and healthy life expectancy was still bringing happiness in people's life. Generosity, social support, positive affect were lower. Generosity, we can see it's a charity. Nobody wants to give charity when everything is going haywire. So next slide, please. Key findings, healthy babies bring happiness. So no matter what, COVID, no COVID, babies were still bringing happiness in everyone's life. Money buys happiness. Higher GDP was still making happy because needs and wants were taken care of. Generosity was lower in that in year 2020 because charity was not bringing happiness to people. And then in future, we do have recommendation. We should use more data about climate, government policies to understand how does it affect politics? How does it affect happiness? Next slide, please. And that would be, so Ken will go over our dashboard.
Yes. So I went ahead and made a dashboard that is uploaded to Render. You can see it by that URL that's up there. And so we have 4 things on our dashboard. So the first one is the you can check out the happiness scores of different countries over time and compare them. And you can pick arbitrary ones. Let's say I want to put Cameroon on there. Bam, now there's a line for Cameroon. The second one is the full stats of individual countries. So by default, here are all the different stats for Canada. And you can look at just specific ones if you want to and clean that out a little bit. And of course, you can look at any other arbitrary country, such as Colombia. We also have the correlation heat map. You saw this during the presentation, but here it is again, as well as this chat values so that you can see which, when we trained that cat boost model, which of the features had the biggest impact on its predictions. And that's about it. And that's about all I have for you generally, in fact. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the color scheme and that heat map. Okay, so we're all moving to Finland. I think that was my big takeaway. And 2020 was not a happy year. Shocking news, I'm sure, to everybody watching. But how was it? Okay, so now you guys have a mix of people who have done this before, people who are new. How was it for everybody, just kind of overall?
I'll say for myself, I realized it's kind of hard to do a code jam when you're working as well.
Right?
So, I mean, I was able to still participate and make my contribution. So I think we did a great job with like delegating tasks, to each person and everyone getting in where they fit in, I would say, being able to put their foot into the project. I would like to big up Ken and Sohini, seem to be the most active. Preeti was there as well. But I know Ken and Sohini were there. A lot of times I would jump into the chat from a late day and see them, going back and forth. So shout out to everyone on the team. And this was a great experience.
Awesome. So
No, Ryan did the map, that colorful map that came from Ryan. It was very nice. And then Optuna done by Ken. We couldn't figure it out how to hyperparameter it. So that was a bit,
This was my first time ever using that library. And I actually, I did want to talk about this. This is something that I learned from my externship advisor. I went through the TripleTen's externship program. I had a great experience. I'm still talking to that guy to this day. And he's the one that tipped me off about, hey, this is something that you should learn. And this was right before the code jam, so I figured why not? And it worked out pretty great. Even if that model that I optimized with it didn't turn out to be the best model, I mean, that's okay. We were still able to use it for the cat boost as well. So.
Well, and I think that's kind of, the piece of what the big takeaway is, there's just so much to learn every time, right? And, trying to jam it all in. Try to jam it all in. It is. And you're right, Ryan, like it's a lot, right? Like you're not only working, but then you're also doing the program. And then it's like, oh, were you sleeping? Let's not do that. Sorry, but you've got 5 days. So it really is. It's a lot, but there also is that super great part where you get to build your portfolio so fast, and really have those skills to talk about. So that is one of my favorite parts too.
I'm sorry. I would also like to add Preeti. She did data visualization and stuff like that. I do not want to leave her behind, but we have amazing team. I know people have their own things going on. I have another internship going on, so there's a deadline tonight. So I'll figure it out.
There's definitely a lot. So Ryan, how do you feel? I was going to say, you've got a train to catch. You better get going.
Oh.
Just want to say,
speaking of hustling,
you
right?
did great.
I think I definitely do something like this again, just because I like working on projects and in this team setting, everyone being in a different place. I think it kind of like sets me up better for remote work, which is something I'm looking to get into from where I'm at now. So this was definitely great for that experience and presentation. I like doing the presentations for public speaking and everything.
Yeah, it's all good things to be adding. And you can add this to your resume as like a link or in your LinkedIn, and then people can see you. So fun. Okay, go catch your train. So we got Preeti coming in, just, dropping in surprise, like everybody is. You guys are all just moving and learning. And I think that is the piece that I really liked about TripleTen, was that it was not just people who like all they have to do today is go to school and learn. Everybody is really trying to work and raise a family and manage a dog and catch a train, and that is something that I think adds to the camaraderie that you get to build. So I am really glad to see that you guys had a great time. All right, that is pretty much going to wrap us up for this evening. For all of us here at TripleTen, thank you so much for watching our Data Jam presentation. It is always, like I said, my favorite thing to do is to see how all of these presentations come together and really see what all of our students are learning and really able to make it real life, right? They're not just stuck in that tutorial hell. They're building real projects that they can use to get real jobs. And that's really what is the best part for me. Thank you again to my team, not just Dennis. I got a whole slew of people. So let's see. We've got Daniel, Camilo, Alyssa, Alina, Olivia, Dennis, of course, Anastasia, and of course my cat Sharkbait, who does all the typing because, he's got paws. And then if you want to vote for our audience favorite, there we go. Then if you are a student of ours, you can go ahead and vote in the hub in the next week. And if you're not a student of ours just yet, you can vote in the live chat that's going on right now. Or if you're watching this on repeat, you can vote in the comment section. All of our results and winners will be posted everywhere on our socials and on the hub on October 9th. So if you need to find me, my name is Tiffany Hall. You can find me at Tiffany Codes on Instagram or tiffanycodes.com on the web. You can probably find Sharkbait trying to dig into pizza, because that is what we're having tonight. And God knows that cat loves some pizza. Okay, well, I hope all of you had a great time and enjoy the rest of your evening. And I'll see you guys next week for another jam. Bye, y'all.
Thank you, Tiffany.